Hello, Internet people. I'm still working on this Pulp Fedora branching feature that we worked together a few days ago. I already submitted a pull request for that, so the code is somewhat finalized, but while testing it, I realized that I need to query some information from Pulp to make sure it did what I expected it to do. Namely, I wanted to make sure that the new content that we create in Pulp has all the expected tags that it should have. So, from what I remember, we definitely set a tag in Pulp that says copper build ID equals something. That tag is definitely there because when I delete the results for the branch, delete the branched results, they actually get deleted, and deletion works based on the copper build ID tag. But I am not sure at this moment if we have another tag which represents the copper chroot that it was built in. So something like Fedora Rawhide x8664. If we have it, there is a possibility that the branched results will have rawhide tag instead of the new, for example, Fedora 44 tag. I need to query Pulp and see, but I figured this querying is kind of not very user friendly or admin friendly because for example there is like to query something based on a copper build ID, we have this logic, and so I cannot just use Pulp CLI and easily query it. Like I can pass it to the Pulp CLI, but this is too complicated to do it like for a quick check. So I figured I would write a simple script to query stuff from Pulp. I think we will find many use cases for it in the future. And I was just about to start writing, and then I realized, oh, that would be a good idea to record and do it together. It will be more fun. So I'm doing that. My idea is that we will have this copper pulp query script, and if I run it with a parameter from the command line that says -- build and specify build ID, it will return all information it knows about a build. So for example, a list of RPM results related to that build. Same for chroot, same for example, -- project, that would get us, for example, the pulp repository and pulp distribution for the project, maybe even all sub-projects within the project, and something like that. And from that we can check the tags, for example, that that the build has. That would solve the immediate problem that I have right now, but it will be useful in the future, I think. So anyway, let's get to it and let's try. So a standard boilerplate, def main, pass. Now we will have to create a Pulp client and query something. So let's do Pulp equals, or maybe client equals. Let's do client equals Pulp client. I think, what parameters does it need? Config is not optional actually, okay. So let's see, what do we pass to it elsewhere? Oh, okay. So in actions we create the instance like this. That makes more sense. So we will do client from config file, a default one, but we need self log and self options. Self log doesn't, I would go without logging. This is a query script you will run on the command line. Let's ignore that. And opts, that's needed. So how does other scripts that we use in a similar situations, how they do it? There needs to be some opt somewhere, no? Git grab opts from backend run. I'm getting a message on Slack right now, and it can be important because we had some copper stability issues. I will quickly check it. Good. No, nothing worrying. Nice. So let's get back to this. Copper apple. I mean this one, for example. Copper apple opts. I think this is what we need. And backend config reader is import from helpers. Okay. No, like this. Config, what is config? Like this, okay. I'm starting to think, is this required or optional? And why do we need it actually? So opts. So this is for a create repo, doesn't matter for us. This is still it. Pulp client opts. So when adding, deleting content, that's it. Okay, so then this is not needed. Let's remove it and do just this. Now we have a client, get content. Let's try to take a let's try to take let's try to see what is returned by client get content for a given build ID. For example, let's try this one and have a breakpoint here. Now it will be the best to run it from backend container. So we will do copper. Yes, this is not, it wasn't installed into path, makes sense. So we'll need to go opt copper backend run as it should be here. So it should be copper pulp query. And this is not iterable, okay, because get content actually expects build IDs, not a single build ID. And we are here, pp-foo, JSON, and we have the results here. So is this useful? Is this useful? I think so, because we can, this is response. So we can do something like response foo raise for status. So this will be our check that it is okay. And we will rename the foo to response is for status. If not, then we can go to foo results, foo, okay, JSON results. And in it we have, for example, the first results, and it has PRN. So this is something that we can get. Okay, so like this, and we can go in a cycle for PRN in data results like this. Actually, we don't need this one. This will be a result PRN, and we can print it, for example, and we can comment this out. Foo, of course. Where is my foo? Response. So we definitely can get PRNs from a build ID like this. Can we get more information about the items? So if I search for PRN, get content, okay. Interesting stuff. It should have returned also location ref. And I don't see it here. So that's strange. Maybe it isn't. It is. It is strange actually. But let's not focus on that right now. Searching for PRN, no. Okay, so what can we do with the PRN actually? For example, where do we use get content? So we use it in actions. For example, we get response, we get PRNs, and then we create repository versions from the PRNs. Okay, that's one use case. What about here? Content response, list of PRNs, delete content, list of PRNs. Okay, that's cool. And the last one, get content. Last one is here. This is response, results, RPM in RPMs. Here we take the location ref. It's strange that it's okay, that's forking. So we need to probably make sure forking still works, because this is weird. And we use the location ref here. So I'm thinking we either should write a function that takes PRN and queries an object based on the PRN, or we should modify getContent to have additional parameters or additional, or maybe fields. Yes, that would be the one, fields. And maybe add tags there if we are taking it. Let's take a look at Pulp API. So if we search PRN in create, for example, get list, oh, what's this? We want content RPMs, no? Repositories, distribution, content packages. No. Let's do it differently. Pulp client, cert, auth, URL, request params, create repository, get repository, get task, create distribution, update distribution, create public and get publication, create content. I mean, we want this. Create content. Create the package. Okay, create the package. So we actually want listing packages or inspecting package. RPM package href. Well, this is not actually useful for us. List packages. Ordering. And list packages is this, no? The get content. I think this is list packages. Maybe not. RPM packages. Oh, here is the URL. Content RPM packages. Content RPM packages. So this is it. We need to then. Yeah. We need to put fields here and set it to none and say that say that fields equals fields or this, and here is this will be the fields. So everything should work the same, but we should be able to specify get content fields and let's say only PRN unexpected keyword argument fields. That's because we are not using the pulp code actually, so we need to do something like this. And then we can do this. So it still returns. Maybe we should instead print the whole result. And what if we specify a location href here? Yes, then we are getting this. What if we specify both of those? Then it works. So, oh, I know what we. By the way, if I delete this, we will still get the same exact output, because the reason why it didn't print the location href before, and I thought I need to check the forking code, is that we didn't use the code from opt-copper backend, and therefore we had outdated code, and therefore yeah, it all makes sense now. So this works. What if what would happen if we actually had a null here? So field equals none. It returns nothing. Okay. Can we say that we want all fields? What happens when we don't specify the fields at all? So we remove this whole section, then we get everything. Okay, good. So if we do something like params, the naming isn't perfect here, but what can you do? We will do params like this, and if we have fields, then we can do params fields equal fields, params, which will work perfectly in this case, but it won't work perfectly for our previous cases because the default isn't correct here. Well, we can probably modify those. There's not that many of them. And actually, this one expects only PRN. So we can do fields equals, and I would do PRN like this, even though it expects string, because we should probably do comma join fields, and okay, where else is this used? So we fixed this one. List of PRNs. So this one also wants only fields equals PRN. And the last one will be different because we need the location ref there, remember? So here, the last one, and the response goes through RPMs are here from the results, and for every RPM we take the location ref, okay, but we do use PRN here. Actually, I don't think so. So we can get content like this, shoot, and fields will be a location href like this. Now we didn't change, we just refactored. It should all behave correctly now. And if we call this again, we have URL encode issue now, because now we actually expect this to be an actual list and maybe even something different. So URL encode, oh, I forgot to put the params here. So now we can remove this and get everything. Great. Now, this probably isn't that very much useful. Because that's too much information, not pretty formatted, and so on. The result should be dict, right? If we from pprint import pprint, yes. So this is nice. So what kind of information is actually useful for us? So most definitely these. What then? Probably Arch. Not files, not epoch. Location href. Sure. PRN, definitely. Pulp created, we already have it here. Recommended, last of the labels, href. Group. Whole pulp, href, yes, we have it here. Okay, that looks reasonable. Maybe the package name, probably. A package name, a version, and basically the package Nevra. That would be good too. Package name, release. So probably version should be somewhere, yes. Okay. So like this, version and release. So these are the interesting fields. Let's comment this out and let's go. So we will have fields. Here indentation because of the comment. Fields, and we will list them. So it will be pulp created, it will be pulp labels, it will be pulp last updated, arch, location href, prn, name, version, release. So created last update that. This is Nevra basically, so name, version, release, architecture. PRN is the same as pulp href. We don't have it here. Pulp href. I probably didn't write that one out, so we will do pulp href and we'll move PRN more to the top. So we have this. Why this is, that's it. There is no comment. And if we run it now, we forgot to pass the fields, of course. Fields equals fields again. And that's the raw, no. Nice. And we are getting only the information that we are interested in. That's good. That's good. Okay. So what can we, how can we move from here? I would probably create a new function that would be def query build, for example, and we will pass the client there, and we'll pass build ID there. Okay, let's say. Then this will all be here, and we will return the results, actually data results, so that we can do build, query build, and pass the build ID and client, which will get us build, which will get us actually results with a better name, and for result in results we can print them, and that's it. Nice. So getting Slack notifications, and I'm actually okay, let me quickly check the notifications, because and sure, we will pass the build ID here. Still works. We can close this one. Okay, this is it. Now we are able to query a build ID. Still hard coded, so let's introduce an argument parser. Let's do it the same way like we do here. So we will have the arg parser. We need to import the arg parse, of course, and then we need to have argument like this, add argument build action. There is no action, store, basically store value, which should be the default. We don't need this, we don't need default, we don't need default, and type will be an integer, and we don't need description at this very moment. We will return parser, and there will be to do dash copper, maybe project, and to do dash build project. Not sure. Oh, let's do dash project only, and to do make them mutually exclusive. Do you know what else we can query here? So we will do something like if args, yes, of course, we need to parse the args. So args equals get arg parser, args equal parser parse args, like this, args build, then and now we can do else here, else print error. So we are returning error. Okay, build, and we will pass whatever build ID we tested before. So this one, and it works. And if we put, for example, 1, 2 here, it will one, two. Yes, okay, that was just luck. Okay, good. I was getting worried. So here we can put the args build ID, which is actually build only. Which can actually store into dest equals build ID. That would be better. Args build ID and build ID, like this. So what do we know actually? We know that this has row height label, this two, and this two. And what's the... Did I forget release? Oh, oh, here is not a comma. So once again, so this is 44. How do I know which one of those was branched and which one of those were actually built? But I think the original, we are getting to the original issue why I started writing the script, because I think some of those are incorrect. Debug info, debug, maybe not. They are, oh, that's it. They are shared between those two. Is that a problem or not? Should we append actually Fedora 44 here? I think branching is a corner case. Maybe we can just keep the raw height there, and once new builds are done, then they will have the correct shoot. Okay, this, okay. So This is, I don't know, this is a bit sketchy issue. I will probably need to think about it later more, but our query script is starting to look like something. What if we try to query by project name? By the way, how long are we working? Okay. So we are 45 minutes in. Let's say we will give it another maybe 45 and then finish. So get repository would be a nice next step. We can get a repository by its name, and the name should be I think just owner and project. So what if we write another function, and it will be, maybe let's copy it so we don't have to write everything again. So we'll have the fields, and we will maybe comment out the fields for now and run it without the fields. Of course, I mean the fields are useless now. Okay, we can start from scratch. Sorry. Client get repository, and what name? Let's say we are playing with this one. And now I'm thinking it would be really cool if we could print which repositories this is a part of. Can we print the repositories or distributions or publications that this build is a part of. Okay, let's get back to the query. Project name. And we'll do full name. That would be more understandable, that it's not just the project name but also owner name. So this will be foo, and we'll put a breakpoint here, and we'll add project. We don't need the dest variable here actually, and we don't need the type because it's string implicitly. So this is done, and here we can do elif args project, then we can do foo equals query project client full name. So this will be args project in the future, right? That's good enough. And if we put project foo, doesn't matter, we hard coded the project name, then we can take a look. So this is a response actually, so we can do the same here, and we can print foo JSON, and this is empty. Okay, so we can also take this. And why is it empty? what is a repository? Actually, let's kill this and do pulp rpm repository list. Get repository is by name. Name is here because the name also needs to contain the chroot. Okay, then we will add another parameter called chroot, and we will say, of course it's optional, it's dash dash, and let's do, instead of specifying all the things, all the values, let's do args, and let's do args here. The same we will do for the project, which will be args, and we will have name will be basically args dot project plus basically let's do it like this, for format args project and args chroot, and of course we'll have these two. So this is our name. Okay, let's delete this and not hard code it anymore. So chroot will be, for example, this one. Now here we can get name. What happens now? Foo response JSON still empty. Name so this is the name. First things test pulp branching to slash Fedora 44. Here is the trailing. Here is the trailing slash. That was the problem. Data, and now we have the results. Good. So we can, same as here, return the results. So if we do this, nothing happens because we don't print the results. So I would go here and do results like this, and here will of course need to be an sys exit 1, so that if we error we don't go to the loop, and we, yes, and if we get back to our previous query with the build, it still works. So good. Now we also would like to get the distribution. So I think we can actually expect this to I know what we will do. I know what we will do. We will have data response JSON. I want to do the same thing basically, but get distribution. The name will be the same. Raise for status and data I don't want to override that though. Well, I can if we do repositories will equal this basically, and we will do distributions equal data results, and then we can return distributions repositories oops daisy. What's wrong? Okay, because this goes to the okay. That's sad. Does this say about itself what it is? Repo config, per package, layout description. This doesn't. Well, it actually says it's an repository by the href. So maybe we can make it less complicated and just return repositories plus distributions. So basically this is the repository and this is the distribution, and we can distinguish between them by here we have Pulp href which has repositories, and here we have Pulp href which says distribution. This is good enough. So we can now return information about a build and about a project. Can we get information about a build in a specific chroot? We most certainly should be able to, because get content accepts chroot. So So query build, we have it here. And we should be able to do chroot equals args chroot. Now, if we get back to our build, it works. If we do chroot row height, it should return the same. Nice. If we do 44, it should be empty. Good. And if we do some other branching deletion Fedora 2. So I should be able to query something in the Fedora 43 chroot, shouldn't I? No subproject, so this should be different. Oh, but a different. That's it, that's a different build ID. So this should be empty, but 3 will return stuff. Good. Yes, I can. Yeah. So if we build something in all chroots, we can then filter it by that. That's nice. So now there is a question about publication and repositories. Okay, let's try that one. I will uncomment these fields for builds so that we have all the available information. And so I don't see anything like that here. If I search for distribution, nothing. If I search for publication, none. But here we are in the repository or distribution results and not the build results, so we cannot actually but it would be really cool if we could. But going the other way would be fine too, like getting all builds from a repository. But I don't know how to get that either. Doesn't matter. I think we can leave the script basically as is, only with some cleanup. And whoever needs more information out of it in the future, they can improve on it. So we cannot easily. This works now. Okay, good. make them mutually exclusive. We should definitely do that. Git grep move to nowhere mutually. I know we definitely have it somewhere in rpm build main, for example. So we can do something like this. Parser mutually exclusive. Let's say it will be exclusive. And here we can do exclusive. And this is a general parameter. That's all, basically. So if we jump back here, it works. If we use the one with the project, it works. And if we do build foo 1, 2, 3, not allowed. So mutual exclusivity is correct. Chroot should be used when optionally, basically, but for project it actually is required, because if I call this, it works. If I call it without chroot, then it's empty. So query project will be if not args chroot, then sysexit 1, please specify chroot. That's good enough. What now? This is mutually exclusive now. We don't need to write the descriptions. That's not really that important. And error is stupid. Maybe we can do mutually exclusive but required. I think that works too, right? Yeah, exactly. Mutually exclusive required is true. So we should never actually get to this error. So if we don't specify anything, one of yes is required. So we can probably live without the else branch. I would say so. And we can now specify some docstring here. Sometimes it is we need to query information from Pulp. repository list. And repository, what command? Repository show. If I do a repository show, and can I show by name? Show expects. Okay, so I can probably show by name. I can probably show. I can show by name. That's correct. But also RPM pulp RPM publication list. Show help. Okay, I need to specify edge review. Okay, so maybe the query project isn't that very much useful, but the query build one definitely is. Sometimes we need to query information from Pulp. That can of course be done using the Pulp CLI tool. For example, and let's do Pulp RPM repository show, this one, and we will have something prettier in the example. So this will be copper pink, this will be copper. And what should do we have in the copper pink project? Actually, we don't need copper pink there. We can do copper arrow height like this. And the same is true for distribution, and do this, for example. But sometimes this can of course be done using, but some of the queries, but in certain scenarios we use custom queries. And it is hard, it is that are not easily writable, not easily we use custom queries that are not easily writable on the command line. and we and even if so, we would like to see what our actual code what results we query by our actual code, not its silly alternative. An example of custom query would be of such custom query would be querying RPM results based on a build ID. An example of a custom query would be so like this. I mean, I wanted something completely different. I wanted to see if this still works. Specified should, yes. And build ID. Good. Okay, I think we can commit this because it's good enough. Git checkout main. Git checkout b pulp copper pulp query stash pop. Fuck. What's the both modified? Git diff. Why is this modified? Oh, because I did fields PR in here probably. So this is actions. Oh yes, because this was actually added in a different. Okay, let's remove this. Git status, git diff, git stash. Oh, git res set at so okay, modified, unstaged. I'm going to stage them right now. Anyway, so we are on a different branch, storage. This is commented code, we don't need that. So we have the URL encode that we had before. We remove the fields from it, and if fields, we add the fields and then encode. Okay. I'm thinking maybe we should move this on top of Fury like this. And the comment is now above params, which is correct. Good, stage it. And storage now specifies location have, that's correct. This is from a different testing, and we are state yes, and this script. So state changes, good. We can continue and we'll do backend, add a helper script to query Pulp results. And we can probably use the same description here. So sometimes we need to query information from Pulp. That can of course be done using the Pulp CLI tool, for example. But in certain scenarios, we use custom queries that are not easily writable on the command line. And even if so, we would like to see what the results we query by, which result gets queried, but would be better. Get queried by our actual code, not its silly alternative. An example of a custom query would be querying RPM results based on a build ID. Good. Let's see the commit one more time. Good. Let's run it one more time because we did the rebase. So this works, and build and project works. Good. 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 And now I'm thinking it would be also nice if we could return a thing based on an href. So there is a special function that I really like, which is get by href, and we can use that one. So by the way, how long are we into the video? Hour and a half. Okay, we need to finish it very soon. So this will be an exclusive one too, because it doesn't make any sense to query build and href. So exclusive add href and if args project, no, this will be args href, query href, nice. We don't have that function yet, of course, so we will do the same as before, and it will be query href now. And we will get response, race status, data, and return the results, hopefully. And we will get by href args href, right? Okay, href, let's save it and run it. And for example, we see an example href here, and it doesn't have any results. So let's take a look at the data. It has data actually, but it's just a single object or a single dictionary, because it's by href, of course, and there is only one, but our printing code requires a list, so we will supply a list like this. Kill it. Right. Oh, no results. Oh, I mean like this. I cannot return just data, right? This won't work. Yes, of course. So like this. Good. So we can return by href. Would be nice to be able to return by prn, but query build query RPMs based on a build ID, query project, query repository and distrib based on project name and root, query any Pulp object based on its href, based on its Pulp href value, argument parser those are really stupid, but we need to write those, otherwise Pylint would complain. So good. We will squash them together. Good. I think we are done, and we can push this. I accidentally opened it in a different browser, so you can see all the code here. Fuck, this shouldn't have been here. Oh my goodness. Let's remove this. And also this. So breakpoint, this. Squash it together. So we have only these 3 modified files, that's correct. What was the last change that we did? Querying by href. So can we still do that? Did I rebase correctly? Query href, we have it here, good. Maybe last more test, just to make sure we can still query by href, good. Git push force, we are pushing to the branch, we can force push. Like this. So the front end change isn't here anymore. This all looks good. Good. This is needed for forking, that's why it's there. Good. Good. Okay. Let's tag it as Pulp and create a pull request. Now we need to wait for the tests to finish, I mean the CI to finish, tests to finish, of course, so on. But I think we are done. Alright, that was it. See you all, have a nice day. I'm not sure what are we going to do in the next video. Okay, see ya.